Who's your Daryl Tapp this year?
Right now it's Cam Brown's been working with me, which he worked last year with us. He's one of our quality control coaches, and he was kind of the guy underneath Tapp last year. Okay. So he's filling some of Tapp's responsibilities going into this year so far.
Tapp was obviously Mr. Energy. Is Cameron the same way? Does he have that in him to sort of emulate that?
Yeah, he does. Everybody has different personalities, and they have to coach and be their own person. I don't want anybody to come in and try to emulate the guy before. Be your own person. Cam's came in and demonstrated, extremely intelligent individual. He's been around sports, his whole life, through his dad, so he sees things, through a sports lens. And getting here last year and being able to really work underneath Tapp and see how the way Tapp operated on a day-to-day basis as my assistant was valuable for him, and he's hit the ground running and done a good job so far this spring.
Kris, you've obviously had a lot of turnover in your group this offseason. How important and nice is it to have Bosa here for this period of time, just to kind of start working with those guys and get some familiarity?
Really nice. One, to get familiar with the new guys, him get familiar with them, and them get familiar with Bosa, and then just anytime you got Bosa's knowledge, in the meeting room, and guys can bounce ideas off of him, and he's obviously played in a lot of football at a high level in the NFL, and guys gravitate towards that. So I think it's really good for his teammates, and then I think it's really good for Bosa, to get in here and get some work here towards the end of the spring and just try to sharpen things up before we go on this 40 days off, before camp starts, just to work on some some footwork, some bending drills, some standard technique stuff that can just really he can hit start day one of camp with some of that stuff knocked out, now getting it here towards the end of the spring. I think it's really good. So I think it benefits both ways, and then just the example that he sets on the field, with his technique work and how technical he is with all of his movements and the things. He's been here going on 6 years now, so he's got a really good grasp on all of our alignments, our aiming points, how we use our hands, and guys can just sit back in the line and just watch him go and see how it's really supposed to look.
What is Collins? As he always is, he's pretty critical of himself after the season. He said he felt like he played the run as good as he ever has, but maybe pass rush not where he wanted to be. And he mentioned hand usage in particular, that maybe he didn't get just because you don't get the reps in during the offseason. What did you see from him last year in terms of that, and how is he able to get back to it?
I would agree with his assessment of himself. I thought he took a step he's always been a really dominant run player for us on the edge. Just his ability to be able to reduce run lanes with his edge sets, and the ability to close ground on the backside and get the plays, and then just the instinctual stuff he does in the run game that people really don't even see. I thought it was the best he's had since we've been here. As in the pass rush, it's difficult. To with the contract stuff and just miss everything, and then he does a lot of that honing in stuff during camp where he gets the reps versus Trent and the one-on-ones versus Trent, and those are like really valuable reps going against the best of the best daily. You really get honed in on that stuff. He wasn't able to get that, and I think we hit the ground running with him with a walkthrough, and then 3 days later he's in a game. It's even when you're one of the best in the world at doing what you do, that's a difficult task to ask. So just the timing of things, I think, will be more honed in this year, with the reps here at the end of the off season, and then just being able to go out there and go against Trent and the other guys during camp, and really get a feel for the hand use, the timing of it. If you're off a little bit in the NFL, you're not going to win. Guys get paid a lot of money to block him, and he gets paid a lot of money to beat him. So it's a battle of small, minute details that I think early in the season should pay off with the amount of work he's going to be able to put into it going into it.
Kris, tell us about Collins and Eliott. What do they? We haven't seen a lot of them. What do they bring to the table? What are their strengths and weaknesses as you see it?
Start with Maliek. It goes way back with Maliek. I really liked him coming out of Nebraska. Just the explosion that he can generate through his lower body jumps off the tape. Like, he can play in the backfield. He can recreate the line of scrimmage. He can knock guards back, and he's, really athletic on the backside to make plays. And then, is the ability to manipulate things in the pass rush. Get a guard to lean one way and beat him another. Work edges on pass rush, and then when guards sit back and try to take those things away from him, has the ability to, with the strength he has in his lower body. He's got a really thick, strong lower body. He can convert stuff into power when needed. He's been a good player in the NFL for a long time. I've always liked his skill set. I think his skill set's tailor-made, kind of to play the attack style nature that, we've played. He's played in some attack schemes throughout his career. Last year, he was down there with Houston, so there'll be a lot of familiarity, going from, working with D'Amico and those guys down there in Houston to coming here and doing very similar type things. Then with Jordan, again, it goes back to, we really liked him coming out of college, out of Missouri, and when we were looking at him, and then, we got drafted by Cleveland and played for Kris Kiffin, who was my assistant in 2019, and then played for Jim Swartz last year, who's one of my main mentors in the NFL. He gave him my first job in the NFL, and just watching him there, I think Jordan just brings the size element that, a guy like DJ Jones brought to the middle of our defense, that 320-pound plus frame that also brings extreme, explosion through contact, ability to knock back double teams and dominate singles in the run game, and then a big man that can really reduce the pocket into the quarterback's lap with the strength and the power he's able to generate, through his lower body, through his hands. Just a guy that, early on we kind of targeted, and then, just the work that he did in Cleveland, the people that we contacted there that I know really well, said that, we thought he'd be a really good fit personality-wise here, and he's been awesome. Brings size to our defense, strength to our defense, knock back to our defense from the interior.
What about Leonard Floyd? What does he add to the group?
Length, very, very explosive, experience, durability, and then just a guy that's played a lot of football and is still a sponge, learning new techniques here and doing different things. He's been very, very detail-oriented in what we're trying to teach here, because it's a little bit different. He's done a lot of different things throughout his career, from, a lot of, standing up in a two-point, then three, getting down in a three-point stance. He's done a lot, over his career. And then he's always just been, anytime you plug on the tape of him, he's just always been a productive player, whether it be, rushing a passer, whether it be in the run game, just the relentlessness that he, plays the game with. He's always pursuing the ball, and he has the length and the speed to affect plays, 100 yards by 53 and a half, just to, protect every, you hear the old cliche, protect every blade of grass. There's certain guys that have the, natural talent and athletic ability to truly do that. He's one of those types. He's long, he can run. Then just his mindset, just the way, his love for the game, jumps off the tape, and everything you hear about him throughout his career. I go back with Leonard as well, went and met with him at Georgia night before his pro day, spent some time with him, got to spend some time with him after his pro day. Really liked him coming out of college. That particular year, I thought he was the most explosive rusher in the draft coming out. And just as I've said in the past, anybody that's caught my eye, that I really thought had the talent to play within our scheme in college, and we really liked him. I keep up with him in the NFL, and things always circle back around, and it's, for me, it's kind of circled back around with him. I've always kept an eye on him and just really liked the way he plays the game, the nature, the love, the passion, and then the talent behind it.
Does Shaquille Brown fall into that category too? Somebody that you've been looking at for a little while?
Yes. Got started on him last year in the draft out of Troy. And just watching it on film, and it's a little different scheme at Troy than what we run here, and just tried to, see if the skill set that he had within his body translated to our scheme. And so, we brought him in for a 30 visit, and, we had draftable grades on him, and then, after the draft, we really pursued him really hard as an undrafted free agent. Ended up losing out, to Tennessee on him. So, when the waiver came out that we saw that he went through an injury last year, and then saw that, the waiver came out that he'd been released at Tennessee. We were on the phone with him pretty quick to see, get him in for a workout, kind of see where he was from a conditioning standpoint, see where he was, coming off the injury that he had last year. And he checked all the boxes there, so he's a guy that we're excited to, move forward with and work with and progress and try to just get a little bit better every single day with him.
Evan Anderson is a big-bodied guy. You guys don't have necessarily a lot of two-gappers, but he's definitely qualifies. He's played at 360. He's dropped down to 320. Where is he now? What's he look like to you? Were you instrumental in bringing him here?
Yeah, and another guy, just watching Evan play in college, I think he's, asked about his weight. I think he's down to about 315 right now, which is good, kind of the targeted weight we kind of envisioned him. But just watching him play in college, just every time I plugged on the tape of him, he just kind of reminded me of a guy we've had here in the past, DJ Jones. With just strong with explosive traits in his lower body to be able to really, explode out of his stance, recreate a line of scrimmage, knock back guards. Some of the things that DJ Jones did for us down there, playing the 2-eye, from 2019 through 21, and just the effect that DJ had on teams in the run game. Blocking him at the 2-eye was made things difficult for other teams in the run game. And I saw a lot of those same qualities in Evan. Really quick feet, can change directions really fast, has really thick, explosive lower body, has natural leverage built into his body. So he's another young guy that we're really excited, just to see, him come in here every single day and work as hard as he can and stack one day on top of the next and get a little bit better every single day and see where it, ends up here come September.
It seemed like last year teams were coming in with very tailored, specific game plans, like running a ton of traps, crack tosses, and those things that just kind of punish like really aggressive defensive lines. Is it just a matter of playing with better technique, or are there going to be like schematic things that you guys plan on doing to kind of counter those type of game plans?
I know it's probably not the answer you want to hear, but a little bit of both. From a technical aspect, there's, we've obviously looked at it, and at every level of the defense, there's technical aspects that we have to look into to get better with it, especially the crack toss plays on the perimeter. We've always here gotten traps just because of the nature of the business, and I think Kevin Givens this year played the trap. For some reason, it seemed like he was in there a lot of times when they ran the trap, and Kevin Givens and some of our other dudes played the trap pretty well. One of them got out on us in the Cleveland game. But then just the perimeter crack tosses, from a technical aspect on all levels of the defense, they're small, minute things that we can see, recognize, and try to put our guys in a better, position technically to play that. And then there's a schematics side of it also, recognizing the formation, being able to adjust to the formation that we're seeing, those perimeter runs out of, and try to, get more population to the football on the perimeter. So a little bit of both, to be honest with you.
Got it. And I know Brandon Staley's coming from kind of a gap and a half world, and will there be kind of a merging of those two worlds, or is it just going to be, will his influence be more on the secondary side?
We play our front the way we play it, so we're still going to be an attacking 9 technique, 3 technique, 2-eye, penetrating fronts. You may see various different types of fronts, which we've instilled throughout the years. Different types of bear fronts and maybe an under front here and there, and just to keep people honest with our alignments and stuff. But we've committed to an attack front. We're going to be attacking up front.
Kris, your whole style on the field of coaching is just, it's volatile, it's loud, you're yelling and screaming, you're demanding the most out of your guys. What was it like for you to watch the film of the Detroit game and seeing guys not going 100%? And that obviously that flies totally opposed to what your philosophy on football. Did that bother you watching that? And And then are we going to see less of that? Are we going to see better effort up front than we saw in that Detroit game?
Yeah, it bothers me, and it should bother everybody. One thing, since I've been here in 2019, we've worked extremely hard on the physicality and the effort that we put on tape. Is needs to be tops in the NFL, and for a long period of time. I mean, talk to people across the NFL. We've had one of the more physical defenses in the NFL, one of the hardest playing defenses in the NFL, and and then a couple lapses here and there, can put a damper on that. And it wasn't like it's happening all season, but there were a few instances where we let our guard down. And then the thing that hurts the most about it is just the amount of work that went in behind the scenes to establishing a reputation that you have across the NFL, and for a couple plays here and there make it seem like it's something that it's really not. We had a couple lapses, in big moments. Everybody knows about it. Everybody's talked about it. So let's just put it this way: we put an extreme amount of dedication, effort, work into playing very physical and playing very hard. So that's what we plan on doing moving forward.
What about Robert Beal? What do you want to see from him this year to kind of take a step in his development?
Yeah, just with Rob, we drafted him out of Georgia, and he was kind of we knew the transition wasn't going to just be totally smooth with him, because he was asked to do a lot of different things at Georgia, from a stand-up perspective, dropping into coverage a lot, playing from a stand-up, walking out and apexing on receivers, and just different things that they had him doing, and along with rushing the passer and going. So we knew it was going to be a transition, with him putting his hand in the ground, and really felt like he was making a lot of progress through the off-season. And then once we started training camp, that first week, I really saw him start taking off, and then he pulled his hamstring and was out for a pretty extended period of time. It wasn't just, just a simple 10-day hamstring injury. So really wish he just could have stacked last year camp on top, got the reps on top of each other. He ended up getting it at the end of the year and got his, feet wet in some games, and then his feet wet in some of the, biggest games. He played in the NFC Championship game. He played, 10, 12 snaps in the Super Bowl. Just that second-year jump, he's a dude that's extremely explosive, can run, he's long, he's added, 12 to 15 pounds to his frame. It's one of the things, he came in here, he's around 245, and we wanted to see him, bulk up some to play, the demands and the standard that we have on the edge, add strength and mass to his frame to be able to, do the things that we need him to do on the edge from a run game standpoint, and then, from generating power in his pass rush. And I just think right now it's just a matter of he's had an, really good spring. He showed back up here, I think before most of the team got back. I think he was here at least a month before the reporting date for off season. Just really been in the weight room, hammering it out with Dustin Perry in there, and added really good muscle to his body. And now it's just a matter of just getting as many reps as he can and learning from his mistakes, and just putting one foot in front of the other each day and getting a little bit better. But he's a guy that if he continues to work the way he's been working, I think he has a bright future in store for him.
Has he ever been that size before? Has he ever been?
No, I think this is about as big as he's ever been. And we never want guys just to get bigger, and then it affect what may be their elite quality, which is Robert can run.
Right.
There was some times on the combine, he was high 4.4 type speed with explosion behind it. So we didn't want to just add 15 pounds to his frame and then all of a sudden he doesn't have that explosion. So we were making sure Dustin Perry and his staff do a really good job of keeping tabs on if you're gaining weight and losing explosion, gaining weight and losing speed, and everything just kept checking off as he was gaining the weight. And I think we found a pretty sweet spot with him right now to really give him a chance to start camp and hit the ground running. It's difficult on some of these rookies, especially, like I said, it's kind of the scheme they had him in Georgia, to come here, go through all these 30 visits and all this stuff, and then show up here, he's 245 pounds and never put his hand in the ground. I just think this offseason's been just a really clear offseason for him to really put blinders on and just really hone in on the small, minute details, within our scheme to, be able to perform at the level we want him to.
How about Drake? What can you get out of Drake this year? It seems like he had a great first week. Does he lack strength? Does he lack moves? What's his issue?
Right now, I think Kyle hit it. Drake's still in the rehab process right now, so it's just a matter of getting his knee back. He's working extremely hard on that, and I'll let Kyle and the training staff and the medical people deal with that when they say it's go time for him. So he's rehabbing right now. That's the main thing, just getting that back ready to go.
What's the strength of his game, though, Coach? Is his strength against the runs? Is his strength against the pass? I know you guys played him inside sometimes.
I would say strength as a pass rusher, just his slipperiness, his ability to bend, his ability to shorten edges, ability to use his hands to create an edge. Just very flexible rusher. And versatility. You can line him up at multiple spots and rush the passer.
Is he a guy who comes in and picks your brain even though he can't be on the field?
Yeah, he's here 24/7. I mean, since shortly after the Super Bowl, he was back here, going through his rehab process. He's always an inquisitive person in the meeting room, always, wanting to know the reasons why. So.
And I know you laid down a challenge to him after his rookie year to really to dial it in. Has he kept that kind of mental focus even though he hasn't been able to do it physically?
Yes, he has. He's in there. He's in all of our meetings. He sits right next to me in the meeting, actually. So yes, he has. He's stayed on top of it. It's a matter of getting with the trainers and continuing his rehab and getting back as fast as he can.
How big of a challenge is it to integrate this many new faces that you're going to be